The one thing my willpower needed to hear, that I needed to hear so I could understand my willpower. There's oftentimes I find that most of us beat ourselves up for procrastinating or hesitating or, second guessing, retracing our steps, going back. And when I discovered what my will center is in human design, and that is right here. So the will center, for those of you with your chart. When I learned what it meant to have an open will center, what that meant, it helped me to understand how I move forward with consistency, how I keep at something, how I have stick with itness. And it was a lot simpler than what I thought. But for most of my life, like most people who have an open will center, which is a huge amount of the population, I think it's around 70% or something, but don't quote me on that. It's a lot. A lot of people have an undefined or open will center. And what that means is that your values are not kind of set. So, for example, my sister has a defined will center, and she has always been able to stick with anything. And I'm just like, I don't even know how you can do that, But what she has, something that she's always had, and they really have not changed, is her values have not changed at all, right? They're the same because she has a defined will center. And mine's open. That means I still have values. If you've got an open one, you still got values. But my values change. I can easily. I can change them anytime that I want to. I can adapt them to anything that is needed. So while she might have, when she does something, when she approaches something, she always knows exactly how she's going to do it because she has these values in place and how she moves in her world. And they're just kind of there. She always has access to them. They're kind of consistent. And there's a different kind of ease for her. So if you've got a defined will center, fantastic. And if you do have a defined will center, this might be helpful in working with people who do not have a defined will center. And I find everybody that I work with does not have a defined one, just like me. So we're all out here trying to figure out how do we stick with it. And when you're looking for how do I stick with it? So how? Spelling. How do I stick with it? So what did I used to do? So in the past, I did what people told me. Whether that's a coach or I read a book or I saw a video, whatever it was, I just did what people told me. And of course, I didn't stick with it because I had no connection to it. They had their values, but I didn't know what mine were. I didn't know. It didn't stick with me. So here's what I do now because my values are not set in stone. So here's what I do. I define my values for that project. So what would that be? What would that look like? Because I mean, if I were me and I was sitting in here and I was listening to me, this would be the first thing. Okay, that all sounds fine and dandy, but how does that look? So let me give you an example of something that I'm working on. It's just me personally. I'm always looking to expand my goals and what I'm comfortable with. And there are some things that, I've not been good at. And you know what? It's not like I have to add these in order to be successful, But I'm looking to grow as a person. So I'm going to do something that, man, this is like a dirty word to me. DMs. Ugh. Suck. That's how I feel about it. It's like, not interested in doing it. And so it's kind of become my nemesis. So this summer I've been working on my DM game. It's something that I said last fall that I wanted to do, and I keep writing it off. And DMs are certainly not the most aligned way for me. But so I had to start thinking about how was I going to do it. So let's share. Here's the old way. Is, it's a checklist of sorts, right? So I had people in a spreadsheet. Let's call them targets, because that's what it felt like. It sounds terrible, but it's what it felt like. And then I had X number per day that I needed to do. I had scripts of what to write. Yeah, those never lasted. I think the most I lasted was probably 5 days, longest. Then I've also tried things where, well, you know what? I'll still do the spreadsheet, right? So the spreadsheet. I'll still do X number a day, but I'll just thank them. That's all. That's all I'll do. So taking some of the pressure off, not trying to do anything, strategic. Yeah. That didn't last either. And it's something that I would love to do for people, right? So here's what I'm doing right now. And I'm on, I think week 5 of doing this, and it keeps working. So one of the things that I still have, I have a spreadsheet that I add to. I didn't start off with people. I add as I go, so that I can just know who I talk to. That's all. Then I have X number per day, or I'm going to put per week, because that's really how I kind of look at it, because I don't necessarily want it to necessarily be per day. So I have X number per week. So I have that, right? So I've been doing this for 5 weeks. So what's different? Here's the difference. The difference is I put values with it. This is the difference. That's not a very good line. Let's see. Let me, we'll keep that on there. Okay. All right. So here's the values that I ended up doing. So I thought about, you know what? I thought about how I want to be supportive. That was a value that I had. That's something that's going to go into everything that I'm going to do. The other thing that I put down was no asking, just giving. Through that, some people have asked themselves back, right? So that was something like that. To me, that was a value. And the other thing is that I was going to feel first, and only for the yeses. So I would see somebody, maybe they wrote a post that I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to just give a shout out and be supportive of it. I'm giving to them. I'm not asking for anything. But before I did that, I would feel into it. And I would feel things like, does this feel good for me to send it? And then, does it feel like they are open to hearing it? They're open to receive it. Because not everybody is, And sometimes I would have a DM all typed out, and I'll be like, hang on a second. I don't know that I'm really feeling this. And I would feel into it again after I had typed it out. Even if it took me 15 minutes to type it out for some reason, I would still feel into it. And even though it might be worded so well, if I didn't get that yes, my inner yes, I didn't send it. And so this is the difference of what I've done from what I was doing before. Because before I was, lost my values here. There we go. My values, sorry, here. Before, I was just willy-nilly sending it out like a checklist, a to-do list. It was just task on a piece of paper that I needed to complete. But when I switched over to doing it this way down here at the bottom that you see, where I'm looking for, I put my values in, and every single one I sent had to meet these. I've been going 5 weeks now, adding the values. That's the key. That's the key that helped me with my willpower in this, the stick with itness that for my sister has come so naturally. But for me, no, I got to find the supports. And this is the key, because she always hears her values. And a lot of times, just like when I was up here, the old way, get the spreadsheet, get some targets, my mind was driving it, There was no values. There was no heart in it. And that's the difference.